Today's review is sponsored by BigBadToyStore.com. Where does RedX get his incredible toys? At BigBadToyStore.com. Where else can you buy top-of-the-line quality products at an affordable price? Head on over to BigBadToyStore.com right now and start your pre-ordering for this and other great products today. And tell them RedX and Nicole sent you.
Welcome everyone, anybody new to the RedX review of Epic Proportions. And if you've been to my reviews, then you already know that. And this is the next entry into the real Transformers Robots in Disguise series. This is Megatron Megabolt. Now this isn't the figure that I was going to review. Obviously I was going to go with this one right here, which is the one that I've had in my collection the longest. I've had this one for over a decade. Unfortunately though, Gold Plastic Syndrome got to him not too long ago. It finally got the better of him, but I gotta admit, for over a decade's worth, when usually the lifespan of Gold Plastic Syndrome is like maybe a couple years or 5 years, he had a long life. That's the best as I can say. So, I'm not really disappointed about this. I knew this was going to happen sooner or later, but really, over a decade, I mean, what more could I possibly ask for? So, it was a nice figure, but that's the end of him. So let's go ahead and look at the actual Robots in Disguise version. Not some repaint for an expanded Robots in Disguise series, or Transformers Universe if you want to call it that. Anyhow, Megatron Megabolt. The story of this figure, well, pretty much like Air Attack Optimus Primal, or even Stormjet, which is Jetstorm from Beast Machines. Yeah, the toy line sucked. The show was pretty good. The toy line sucked. The toy line got cancelled, if I'm not mistaken. And any figures that were supposed to come out at the far end of the series that didn't see the light of day outside their factory got thrown into the Robots in Disguise line. And if I'm not mistaken, some of them actually went through a difference in color scheme. Like Megatron here. I'm sure he was supposed to be a different color. At least that's what I was told. Anyway, here's the figure. And here's the head. Obviously, it's Megatron. And if you want to hide it, just to make him a different character, you can. Press his little spark crystal right here, and boom! Up comes a helmet. His helmet has a cannon on the top of it. A cannon is attached to his helmet. That's seriously badass, actually. That's really freaking cool. That's an ingenious idea. All Decepticons should have something like that. That would be awesome. And it's also held on by a very strong magnet. I'm not kidding. Look at that. That's a strong magnet. And yes, he does have a missile, but I don't know where it is. Ah, here it is. Never mind. I found a little button right here that if you push forward, not back, it will fire. Like so. And it does fire pretty far, and that's how I lost it the first time. And that's really it for this. I mean, there's nothing else to him. I mean, we can go through the articulation very quickly. Head does actually move left and right. The other version does not because it's made of gold plastic. So, you know, if you got that version, be careful. Ball jointed shoulders. Ball jointed elbows. And that's it really for the articulation at the arms. No waist articulation due to transformation. Ball jointed legs. That's so. Ball jointed knees, which it's kind of awkward how this is really long and the upper half is very short. You can fix it though if you actually break him. There you go. But now he has stability problems because this is really what holds him in place. Just pop that back in. His shin guard is also on not a ball joint, but it does move freely due to transformation, I guess. Ball jointed feet, pretty cool. And his little back heel right here are actually what keeps this figure standing, and they move around due to transformation. So yeah, his heel spurs, like I said, it's the only thing that really keeps him standing up because he is very back heavy with all this kibble. So his spider legs, they have a gimmick, and it's in his other mode, which we will get to in a minute. But let's go through a little size comparisons, or should I say a big size comparisons. Here he is with MP10 Optimus Prime, the only figure I've got right now that's actually transformed in robot mode besides Megatron Megabolt. I can never get tired of saying that name. Megatron Megabolt just sounds cool. So, let's go ahead and get him into his alt mode, which is that head mode from Season 2 of Beast Machines. So, where to begin? Where to start? Well, I guess we can start with the arms. Let's go ahead and just fold them in like so. And that's pretty much that right there. You can also flip these around like so. Bring these forward a little bit. No, actually, no. I screwed up. My bad. Let's start with the legs. And let's not try and press that button. Start with the legs. Bring it out like so. And then you're going to rotate it somehow, some way. I'll get it. Bear with me. It's been a while. Get this out of the way. Make sure you got some clearance. And bring it back like so. That's always the toughest part about this figure. Go ahead and rotate his cock piece like so. No, actually I had it right the first time. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so now that we got that, let's get lost for a moment. Bring this forward, flip this back, grab the headpiece and bring it forward like so, and snap these two pieces together, which is kind of scary at first, especially since this figure is new and very tight. Just a little bit, not all the way. Bring this piece up, extend it out some because it actually does. It covers up his face like so. Rotate around like so. Make sure it's like this. Go ahead and take his feet, pop them in like so. Bring down the engine. Yeah, or the thruster, whatever you want to call it. Break his leg again, but that's the only way you can do this because it pegs in like that. And, you know, as a lot of people say it, second verse, same as the first, whatever. Do the same. There you go. Break it in half. It's going to peg in right there. This side came out, but it's going to do that once in a while. It only makes the transformation a bit longer. It's also because these pieces won't peg in tight. There we go. Now he's not going anywhere, and now I'm scared to transform him again back to robot mode. Good thing I won't have to. Flip this back. Now these pieces are supposed to peg in right here, but for some reason on this figure, they don't. They give a little indication that they are pegged in, but they aren't. They really aren't. And last but not least, the feet pieces right here are supposed to peg into each other, and I have quite a hard time doing that. Especially on camera. There we go. No, came out. Let's try it again. Make sure it's in there. There we go. Now flip these back. And, sorry, this is the last part. Make sure the legs are actually flipped forward. So, there he is. There's Megatron Megabolt in his, I don't know what you'll call it mode. Let's just say head mode. Let's go ahead and insert the missile back, because it's also part of the feature right here. So what does he do in this mode? Well, besides looking pretty badass, to be perfectly honest, nice color scheme might I add, he actually rolls, which is kind of cool. Look at that. When he rolls, because of these wheels right here, there's gears on the inside that move the legs. Look at that. Look how awesome that is. That is awesome. And if you actually push down a little harder on the wheels, it will actually move his mouthpiece. As you can see, it's moving. That is awesome. Now, I've heard that the missile is supposed to fire on the figure when you've got his mouth in a full motion, but mine doesn't do that. If somebody actually knows, let me know, because I would love to know whether or not it's supposed to be an automatic missile fire if his mouth is all the way down. I can't get him to do it. But you can actually press his spark crystal right here and he will fire the missile, like so. And I will retrieve it. And that's really it. I've got nothing else to show off except his counterpart. Boom. Yeah. I like this color scheme a little better because it just looks like it's got more life to it, even if it is dead. Battle damage, actually. Woo, not a bad idea. But still, it's very nice. And these will actually peg in a little bit more and hide that little crease there, but I'm not going to force it because this figure is pretty old. Even if it did come out of package a couple of weeks ago, it's still an old figure, and I just got this little fear, just because of him, that something bad is going to happen, so I'm not going to force it. For some quick size comparisons in this mode, Premium Barricade, my favorite of the 2007 toy line. And why not? Let's bring in Megatron. So here's Megatron and Megatron. Even if Megatron is having some trouble standing, just because of the position I've got him in. And I'm not really going to bother with him. There you go. There's Megatron and Megatron. Let's bring in one more size comparisons. Fortress Maximus' head. And there's a reason why I took off Fortress Maximus' head. Because everybody should know this by now. Just one second, because I do have him right here. And he's pretty freaking heavy still. Here he is. Yes, Fortress Maximus. If you have Fortress Maximus of any kind, you can take the legs off of Megatron Megabolt like so. Break off his limbs, why not? And, you know, this isn't right, but this is the only way it can be done. Take them off like so. Take up the camera so you all can get a good view. You have to do this. It's the only way it will work. As you can see, it's a tight fit. But if you work with it, it will feel like it's in there. As you can see, it's not moving. Almost as if it's really in there. It's not, though. As you can see, it's loose, but it really does feel like it. And there you go. You can switch Fortress Maximus' head. They even threw that up there. I mean, look at that. How freaking cool is that? Now the Decepticons or the Predacons truly have the control over Fortress Maximus, if not for Scourge in there as well. I mean, Megatron Megabolt's got command of him. There you go. This is an awesome. This is very, very, very cool. I love this. I would love to keep him like this, and I probably will once Metroplex comes into play. And oh boy, you know, I'm not one to really say this, but I am sad for Fortress Maximus when that figure arrives, because he's had this title reign that's the biggest Transformer ever for how long now? How long? A little more over 20 years? That's a long time. That's 2 decades worth. Good God, it really saddens me to see that he's going to lose that title come this summer. But whatever, he had a long run, just like this guy right here. But other than that, that's really it for this review. I got nothing else to say about it, or except whether or not he's actually worth it. And I'm going to be honest with you, it freaking is. It really is worth it. Now, like I said, granted that you have to take off his bits here and there in order to get him to apply to Fortress Maximus. But after a while, they do tend to get a little loose. Not to the point where they're just going to go all over the place in his head mode. But just to a certain point where you can actually pop these back in without any issues whatsoever. Like so. Though I'm having a little bit of some trouble right here, but you know, that's to be expected. I'm a little scared to mess around with this figure, but I did it. That's the end of his review. So, yeah. While I'm doing this, I guess the only thing I can really say is go out there and get him. Except, you know, he's not in stores. You would have to get him online at eBay, maybe even Amazon.com. Though it's been a while. But, yeah. There you go, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this little review, even if it was a little long. Hopefully I didn't bore you guys to death, and I'm going to be saying that for a long time. So, questions? Comments? Any whatsoever? Huh? Anybody got something out there to say to me? It'd be nice. Just leave them down below, and I'll answer them when I got time. And until the next RedX review, or even the Real Transformers Robots in Disguise series, that's me, RedX, signing out. Thank you very much for watching this, everyone, and until next time, y'all take care.